Alright, here we go. Another rise and fall. Back in 2006, the world of NASCAR was a changing landscape. The number of fans were still at all-time highs, a new manufacturer, Toyota, was looking to move forward into the upper series of NASCAR, and the founders of Red Bull were looking to bring their brand into the world of NASCAR racing shortly after their entrance into Formula One racing. When Roger Penske's team had upgraded to a new racing facility, Red Bull bought the old facility which they had vacated. Hiring a team of 75 employees, Red Bull Racing began operations in 2006, and while they were all set to work with Toyota Racing, they were unable to compete in 2006 because Toyota was not yet cleared to race. So the team would purchase Dodge race cars from Bill Davis Racing in order to compete some in 2006. The team officially started in January 2006, but it would not be until June 25th, 2006 when they would announce that Brian Vickers would drive for the team in 2007, as he would make this announcement during an episode of The Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. However, it would be a couple months later when we would see the team make their first appearance, with Bill Elliott on board as their driver instead of Vickers, as he attempted to qualify the number 83 Victory Junction Gang Dodge at Lowe's Motor Speedway, but unfortunately the team did fail to qualify for this event. Later in the year, the team announced that former Champ Car driver AJ Allmendinger would also join the team as their second driver for 2007, and the team attempted two other starts in 2006, one at Atlanta Motor Speedway and the other at Texas Motor Speedway, which, like the first one, they would fail to qualify for. The next year, in 2007, the team officially welcomed in Toyota as their manufacturer, with Brian Vickers driving the number 83 Red Bull Camry and AJ Allmendinger in a number 84 Red Bull Camry. Unfortunately, things would start off not looking good, as both Allmendinger and Vickers would fail to qualify for the 2007 Daytona 500. In the first dual race of the 2007 Daytona Speedweeks, AJ Allmendinger crashed with Robbie Gordon on lap 24, causing heavy damage to both of their race cars. Then in the second dual race, Brian Vickers blew a right rear tire on lap 51, ending his chances at making the Daytona 500. The next week at the Auto Club 500, Brian Vickers was successful at qualifying for the team's first race, and he was able to score a top 10 finish for the team as well. All in all, 2007 would be a rough year for the team, with Vickers only qualifying for 23 of the 36 races that season, and AJ Allmendinger qualified for only 17 of the 36 races. The team would show a few signs of hope though, with Vickers scoring 5 top 10s in 2007, including a top 5 in the 2007 Coke 600, where he would lead for 76 laps as well. In 2008, things would look better for the race team, with Vickers completing the full 36 race schedule, this time with the support of Kevin Hamlin as his crew chief, and finding the right crew chief for the 83 car was a key step in bettering the race team. As the 2008 season progressed, the 83 team would record better finishes, with Brian Vickers scoring 6 top 10s and 3 top 5s, and at Michigan in 2008, he would score the team their very first pole award. The 83 team would also show their strength by winning the 2008 Sprint All-Star Pit Crew competition. While the 83 team was beginning to improve in 2008, the 84 team was still struggling, as AJ Allmendinger failed to make the first 3 races of 2008. Because of this, Red Bull made an executive decision to replace Allmendinger temporarily with veteran driver Mike Skinner starting at the spring Atlanta race. Skinner would run a total of 7 races for the 84 team in 2008, scoring a best finish of 27th at Atlanta. Allmendinger would return to the 84 car at the Aaron's 499 at Talladega, sporting a new silver Red Bull paint scheme, and in 27 starts, Allmendinger recorded 2 top 10s, one at Indianapolis and the other at Kansas. On top of this, AJ Allmendinger would win the 2008 All-Star Open race, securing him a spot in the 2008 All-Star race. Towards the end of the year, it was apparent that the pairing of Allmendinger and Red Bull was not made to last, and Allmendinger would announce that he was heading over to Richard Petty Motorsports in 2009. With Allmendinger gone, Red Bull Racing's 2009 driver lineup included Brian Vickers back in the team's blue number 83, and Red Bull's development driver Scott Speed was brought in as a rookie in the silver number 82, which was formerly the 84, and while Scott Speed would struggle to perform, essentially having no chance against Joey Logano for 2009 Rookie of the Year, Brian Vickers had one of the greatest seasons of his NASCAR career in 2009, scoring 13 top 10s, 4 top 5s, and 6 pole awards, and on the day of his 6th pole award, he was able to play fuel strategy, and even though he only led for 12 laps, he was able to hold on and get Red Bull Racing their first victory at Michigan, holding off Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. This was all part of a series of incredibly strong runs in the summer of 2009 by Brian Vickers, and it was enough to help secure Vickers into the 2009 chase for the Cup. Unfortunately, once the chase began, a series of bad performances would see Brian Vickers finishing 12th in the final point standings. Coming off of what many had called a highly improved season. The team had hoped for an even better year in 2010 with Vickers and Speed back as the team's drivers. However, this would be a step in the wrong direction. While Scott Speed would continue to run poorly, Brian Vickers would run fair, picking up 3 top 10s and 11 starts with an average finish of 20th. However, unfortunately, the world would find out about the plague of blood clots that would haunt Brian Vickers for the rest of his career, and that would put an end to his 2010 campaign with drivers Casey Mears, Reed Sorensen, Matthias Ekstrom, and Boris Said replacing Vickers in numerous races, and with just 5 races remaining in the season, we would see a unique situation come up. So, late in 2010, it was announced that upon the end of Mark Martin's contract with Hendrick Motorsports in 2011, that Kasey Kahne would take over the number 5 car in 2012. With it being well understood that Kahne did not want to be back in the number 9 car for 2011, Kasey Kahne needed to find a 1-year opportunity, and he was able to do just that as he announced that he would compete for Red Bull Racing in the number 4 car for the 2011 season, and to start the relationship early, they would bring Kasey Kahne in to drive the final 5 races for Red Bull in the number 83, while Eric Almirola would finish out the 2010 season in the number 9 Budweiser Ford. I kind of like how they got to that number 4 for Kasey Kahne that year, because he started in the 9 car, he was going to the 5 car, so you get 4? I'm lame. Following 2010, Red Bull ended their contract with Scott Speed early, which would result in a significant lawsuit between Speed and the team, and for the 2011 season, Team Red Bull fielded Kasey Kahne in the blue number 4, and after months of treatment, Brian Vickers was cleared once again to race and piloted the silver number 83 car. On top of this, Red Bull had been working with a new development talent in Cole Witt, who would show great signs of potential driving Stacey Compton's number 60 in the Truck Series powered by Red Bull in 2011. This would even lead to Team Red Bull fielding a 3rd Cup car as Witt piloted number 84 in the final 2 races of 2011. Oddly enough, when Witt would make his first Cup start for the team, Kasey Kahne would score the team their 2nd and final win in their history. It was indeed odd that the team would even run a 3rd car, because as of June 20th, 2011, the Associated Press reported that Red Bull intended to leave NASCAR following 2011. It would appear that the team's overall on-track struggles combined with a low return on investment from the 18 to 34 demographic just ultimately brought the Red Bull company to no longer see a reason to continue in NASCAR. However, they would continue their efforts in the world of Formula One, where they still compete even today. Following the closure of Team Red Bull, the team's cars, owner points, and equipment were purchased by former TRG Motorsports executive Ron Devine to form BK Racing. Phew, oh boy, it's been quite the episode so far. But I'm feeling kind of hungry. Let's go get some food. Now that hits the spot. Alright, so now where was I? Oh yeah, so Burger King, fun fact, they weren't even a corporate sponsor of BK Racing. I know, right? Team owner Ron Devine was a Burger King franchise owner and now a co-partner in BK Racing, along with tomato grower Wayne Press and Thomas Uberall, who was the former race director of Team Red Bull. And while Devine's team worked out of the old Red Bull facility and their cars featured liveries of Burger King, the BK in BK Racing did not mean Burger King, as the brand was not a direct sponsor of the team. In fact, the last driver that Burger King sponsored in NASCAR directly was Tony Stewart during the 2011 season. So, to make it all clear, just as Bob Jenkins is a franchise owner of Taco Bell and Long John Silver's and would occasionally showcase the brands when the team did not have funding, the same can be said for Ron Devine. When they did not have a sponsor for the race, the licensing agreement between Burger King and Devine allowed for the brand to be authenticated with the team's 83 and 93 cars, while also including the Dr. Pepper brand as well, and because of this, we would no longer see Burger King partner of Tony Stewart again, and to be fair, why would we? They basically were getting almost entirely free advertising in NASCAR because of Devine. Devine. Interesting fact here as well about BK Racing. In 2013, they partnered up to sponsor two competitive bass anglers, Paul Pagnato and Kurt Dove, who respectively were teamed as PK Fishing Team already to form the BK Fishing Team. To put this in a good way, the BK Fishing Team was about as good as the race team. According to FLW and Bassmaster, Paul Pagnato has competed in two FLW events, finishing 135th and 176th with zero career earnings from FLW, and with Bassmaster he has competed with them in 54 tournaments since 2007, and out of all of these events his best finish was 26th, and he has only managed to record $3,541.43 in career earnings. His teammate Kurt Dove, however, has had a much more profitable career in the sport. His career dates back to 2006, fishing in the prestigious Bassmaster Elite Series and the FLW Tour, and according to BassFan.com, his career earnings are $198,424. So in a weird way, I can compare the fishing team very much so to the racing team. While BK Racing had some very experienced drivers race for them like David Rudiman and David Reagan, they also had some drivers that many at times fans questioned their credibility to compete in the Cup Series. Listen, to be point blank here, I don't want to go year by year with this team because the fact of the matter is that they were not good, and ultimately I do not believe that the BK Racing project was a good investment on the part of Ron Devine, and ultimately the banks would catch up and agree. They pretty much would not allow Devine to continue to use his own money to fund a non-profitable racing team. The fishing contract essentially ended in 2014 when Life Proof Phone Cases stepped up as a primary supporter of Paul Pagnato and Kurt Dove, and by August of 2018 the team was liquidated, with most of the team going to Front Row Motorsports and other teams including Rick Ware Racing and Obaika Racing receiving part of the team's assets. When the team was up for a bid in a bankruptcy auction, Front Row Motorsports was able to outbid GMS Racing with their bid of $2,080,000, beating GMS's offer of $1,800,000. And just like that, the ashes left behind by BK Racing are now somewhere in the sport with various teams, but it's really sad in my opinion to see the journey the team went on. What started out as a major corporate investment by Red Bull into NASCAR became nothing more than money tossed around on the racing aspirations of a Burger King franchise owner, and while both teams built their careers of many in the sport, the legacy that each side carries in this two-part story will be forever remembered very differently from one another. This has been the rise and fall of Team Red Bull and BK Racing. I'm Danny B, and I will see you next time. Be sure to give the video a like, drop a comment down below, and be sure to hit subscribe. Bye guys.